Psalm 34, verses 1 through 8. I will extol the Lord at all times. His praise will always be on my lips. My soul will boast in the Lord. Let the afflicted hear and rejoice. Glorify the Lord with me. Let us exalt his name together. I sought the Lord, and he answered me. He delivered me from all my fears. Those who look to him are radiant. Their faces are never covered with shame. This poor man called, and the Lord heard him. He saved him out of all his troubles. The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him, and he delivers them. Taste and see that the Lord is good. Blessed is the man who takes refuge in him.
Oh, how he loves you and me.
What a friend we have in Jesus.
Literature and movie theaters are full of happily ever after stories. And in those stories, some event has to happen before the conflict can be resolved and everything works out. And this main event, it always seems like, happens at the last possible moment to bring resolution of the conflict that has built up. Take, for example, the movie Beauty and the Beast. The beast and his household are cursed until he learns to love. He has to express his love for a young lady, and she, for her part, has to look past his ugliness to see the essence of his heart, and in turn declare her love for him. So in the last few chapters of that movie, the beast realizes he loves Belle and expresses his love for her. And everyone in the beast's household is excited, and someone says, well, the curse should be broken. But Mrs. Potts says no, she has to express her love for the beast in return. And so the storyline continues to develop and develop, and finally, at the last possible moment, Belle declares her love for the beast as the last petal is falling, and the timing of that event could not happen any later in the movie. She declares her love for the beast, and he's instantly transformed into the handsome prince. The curse is broken. Everyone in the beast's house is set free, and everyone lives happily ever after. In that instance, as is the case with a lot of these stories, the plan proceeded when the time arrived and the event happened. Right now, there's an event happening outside my window. The neighbor is having someone weed eat his lawn. Right at this precise moment, which I find rather funny in terms of the timing of things. As we return to our study of Ecclesiastes, we discover Solomon sees a story unfolding in this world. And the storyline sometimes seems to get stalled at various points along the way. Listen to Ecclesiastes 3, verses 1 through 8. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to tear down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to scatter stones and a time to gather them. A time to embrace and a time to refrain. A time to search and a time to give up. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to tear and a time to mend. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. These 14 pairs of opposite activities represent a person's life. There's no way that Solomon could include each and every activity that occurred in a person's life. The world would barely be able to contain enough books for such a summary. But these 14 pairs of activities are meant to summarize a person's life. And so you have the person born and the person dying. And in between you have their hopes, their dreams, their pleasures and their sorrows. And Solomon recognizes that there's some sort of story unfolding in this world. There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven, and then he proceeds to give these activities as a summary of a person's life. And so, as we evaluate our lives or anyone's life, these activities don't seem to make sense from our human perspective. I mean, we understand that a person's born and they die, but if you take any one of these activities and kind of chase it to its ultimate extreme, it doesn't seem to make sense at all. And this story that's unfolding in the world is something that Solomon is frustrated that he cannot discern. And so there's really two different options that we can take with regard to trying to figure out this plan, this story that is unfolding in our world. And one of those is chance and fate. And the other option with regard to the activities that are happening in this world are God's perfect timing. And depending on which of those options we choose is going to make a huge difference in terms of our conclusion. So that let's take chance and fate. Solomon, from that vantage point, decides that life is a cosmic joke, that we work and we die. Listen to verse 9 and 10. What does the worker gain from his toil? I have seen the burden God has laid on men. So if we just kind of take it from a totally human vantage point, using our human knowledge only as a basis for evaluating the activities that we see in a person's life, and we say that those activities are coming about as a result of chance and fate, Solomon concludes it's a cosmic joke, a burden that God has laid on people, and that it is something that is, we work, labor, we die. And that pretty much summarizes the conclusion when you look at life and the activities of a person's life from the vantage point of chance and fate. But what happens when we evaluate life with God's perfect timing in mind? Now, Solomon is willing to acquiesce. The last couple of weeks we said that Solomon has been evaluating life from a totally human perspective under the sun, and he sees the underneath side of the ribbon of life as being gnarled and twisted and messy. But now he's going to take the upward view of the ribbon that we spoke of a couple of weeks ago, which is a beautiful pattern and an exquisite design as he evaluates the activities of life. Listen to verse 11 and following. He, God, has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the hearts of men, yet they cannot fathom what God has done from beginning to end. I know that there is nothing better for men than to be happy and to do good while they live. that everyone may eat and drink and find satisfaction in all his toil. This is the gift of God. I know that everything God does will endure forever. Nothing can be added to it, and nothing can be taken from it. God does it so that men will revere him. So yeah, as chance and fate, we see it's a cosmic joke and we work and die. But as God's perfect timing is woven together in this story that's unfolding on this amazing planet, we see these activities as a beautiful gift that we can receive and enjoy. We would say that this story that's unfolding is a sovereign plan that is unfolding in our world. And we are unable to discern it all, but we can certainly enjoy it. And here's the amazing thing. We can exercise free will and participate in this plan that's unfolding on this planet. A sovereign plan is unfolding, and yet we are not puppets or robots. We can exercise free will and literally participate in advancing this plan and enjoying it and relishing in our part in this amazing sovereign plan that is unfolding. How in the world can we bring together God's sovereignty in this unfolding plan and our free will as human beings? I believe that they both exist. So let me illustrate this as best I can. Envision with me that there is a huge ship that has left New York and is on its way to England. It's going from point A to point B, and the destination is set or established. Now, on this massive ship, there are many passengers. And these numerous passengers have many activities and different kinds of things that they can do while they are in passage to England. They can enjoy these things, they can have fun, they can serve others, they can establish friendships. And this relates to the sovereignty of God is the ship itself that's moving from point A to point B. And the free will of human beings is like those passengers on that ship who have the opportunity to do so many different things in terms of enjoyment and service and friendship while they are en route to their destination. For me, that helped to understand this sovereignty of God and free will of man so much better. Here's what I want you to know today from this passage of Scripture. Your part in this unfolding story is amazing. I want you to discover it, pursue it, live it, love it. May God richly bless you as you pursue Him and your part in this amazing story that's unfolding this week. God bless you all.